Guerrilla Games is the Dutch developer known for the Killzone series of first-person shooters. It is also a wholly owned subsidiary of Sony Interactive Entertainment and develops exclusively for the PlayStation. For over 13 years, Guerrilla Games has developed nothing but Killzone sequels and spin-offs, but in February we saw the release of a brand new IP from them, Horizon Zero Dawn, an action RPG from a company that has only ever made first-person shooters. So here's the question: does Horizon sink or does it swim? Find out in my review. Enjoy!
It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world.
The plot, backstory, and atmosphere in Horizon Zero Dawn is an amazing thing. You play as Aloy, an outcast turned warrior brave in a Neolithic tribal society in the distant future of a post-apocalyptic Earth. Aloy was born without a mother, in a matriarchal social structure that frowns upon the motherless, but she is adopted and raised in the fringes of society by the kind-hearted hunter Rost. Once she becomes a woman, Aloy decides to take the tribal right to become a brave, and once again be accepted by society. But as is often the case in these stories, things go awry, a lot of people are left dead, and Aloy is left to pick up the check and save the day. It is a simple but effective story that serves mainly as a vehicle for the amazing world building in Horizon. Now, we've seen a lot of post-apocalyptic stories recently, with the likes of Fallout, Mad Max, and The Last of Us, but Horizon is in a class of its own. Fallout and The Last of Us are set a few decades, or maybe a few hundred years into the future, but Horizon is set thousands upon thousands of years after the fall of man, in a time where we have all but forgotten the old world and have more or less moved on. As Aloy, you begin rediscovering the ruins of the old world, and pieces of humanity lost to the years. The game does a fantastic job of world building, and selling the ruins of civilization. It approaches our near future as the distant past, and does some reverse anthropology, selling the ruins of a futuristic civilization as the remains of an ancient society. It's the little things that work to sell the setting. Aloy finds a set of car keys, and in your inventory they are marked as ancient chimes. She finds a monogrammed mug, and believes it to be a valuable or even a sacred vessel. It all makes sense. It's pretty much how we treat the ancient past, and it really helps sell the universe as an authentic, living world. It is simply the most interesting setting and the best world building that I have seen in a video game in a long, long time. The plot may be a simple redemption and self-discovery story, but the setting and world building brings Horizon to the next level. Horizon Zero Dawn just goes to show how far world building and really just fleshing out the minutia and the fluff can go in turning a simple, somewhat bare-bones story into a memorable classic. Horizon Zero Dawn as a game in and of itself is somewhere in between The Witcher 3 and Cabela's Big Game Hunter. Vast open vistas of wilderness and ruins lay between widely spread cities and settlements, all for you to explore and quest in. But that wilderness is full of dangerous mechanical beasts, robotic monstrosities left behind by the world that came before. To dispatch them, Aloy is a master bow hunter, and has a variety of ranged bow attacks at her disposal, and many new techniques and arrow recipes to learn. The mechanics of bow hunting in Horizon are absolutely fantastic. I realize the bow has become somewhat of a meme weapon for strong female characters to wield in games over the past 5 years or so, but the bow hunting in Horizon finally gets it right. It just feels so natural and satisfying. Playing any other game with a focus on archery after Horizon is just frustrating and clunky, but in Horizon it is fast and elegant, and it finally feels like Legolas makes it look in Lord of the Rings. You can run, duck, dodge, whip out your bow and split an enemy down the forehead, and it feels just as fluid and intuitive as melee combat feels in other games. Bow hunting and ranged combat is definitely the focus in Horizon, and it feels great. Speaking of melee combat, Aloy also has a staff that she can use to beat enemies senseless. However, melee is much less effective than the bow, and is best used for stealth attacks. If you just run up to a raging beast or an angry bandit camp with your staff, you're gonna have a bad time. And I love that about Horizon. It really makes you sit in the bushes for a while and think before attacking, something The Witcher 3 never quite pulled off. The melee controls, in a strange reversal of norms, however, are a bit clunky, and even without considering the fact that melee is weak and inferior to ranged combat in every way, you'll likely just avoid it altogether for the most part. With the notable exception of the fantastic stealth sections of the game, which borrow heavily from Metal Gear Solid and Manhunt, where stealth melee combat is part and parcel of the gameplay. Other than those sections, however, melee is largely negligible for the most part. As I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of settlements and villages to discover in the vast open world of Horizon Zero Dawn, and in them are a multitude of inhabitants that have dozens upon dozens of side quests for you to partake in aside from the main quest. There are simple fetch quests and MMO kill blank amount of blank quests, but many of these side quests feature story elements and help support the world building in-game. It's a great use of side quests, and it really just shores up the already rock-solid foundation that Horizon is built on. Lastly, I would like to mention something that isn't even a real part of the game, at least I don't think it is, and that is hunting. As I detailed earlier, the bow mechanics in Horizon are slick and satisfying, but this, combined with the plethora of mechanical and biological beasts that stalk the vast plains and forests of the world, make for some really great recreational hunting in the game. I myself am a vegetarian and a pacifist in my day-to-day life, but I'm not one of those little pansy asses that have to bring their worldview into the game with them. I actually really enjoy hunting and fishing when it's included in video games, and I find it to be somewhat of a catharsis, like a lost connection to the roots of man, rediscovered through video games. And Horizon has the best recreational hunting in any game I have ever played, including games like Cabela Big Game Hunter, and other legendary hunting series. Horizon just does it better somehow, and seemingly by accident too. A combination of atmosphere, music, lighting, and bow hunting mechanics just make it click, and whether your quarry is a wild turkey, a boar, or a mechanical beast, you can hunker down in the forest, track and hunt down your prey in a way that no other game has accomplished before it. Horizon is full of little surprises like that. The game and its gameplay are at harmony in Horizon, and every once in a while they just come together in moments of brilliance you rarely see in gaming. It really is a treat. Now, I hesitate to say that the visuals are the best part of Horizon, because the whole game is just fantastic in every last aspect. But the graphics presented in Horizon Zero Dawn are some of the finest graphics in all of gaming. Horizon runs on a modified version of the Decima engine, which is the engine that Killzone Shadow Fall ran on, and that game had some fantastic character models with hyper-realistic skin. It is also the engine Death Stranding will run, which is already proven to be a beautiful product. It has been called the Fox Engine 2.0, and it really does feel that way. Characters, lighting, textures, animation, and post-processing in Decima all look beautiful and creamy, like an idealized version of the real world. Horizon really takes advantage of this engine. All of the character models, even the most minor characters, look almost too real. Aloy is especially gorgeous, with breathtaking facial animations and modeling. The skin and eyes of characters are especially real, thanks to the soft light scattering techniques used in the Decima engine. It really sells the idea that these are real people on screen. Skin and eyes react to light the same way they do in real life, and when coupled with fantastic, complex facial animations, it makes for some truly believable and emotionally real characters. The environments are likewise breathtaking, some of the most decadent and visually complex scenery in any modern game. There's just so much to take in at every glance, and it all looks splendid. The vegetation is especially nice looking. Unfortunately, there is a trade-off for such visually satisfying scenery, and that is, for the most part, the scenery is static and not interactive. By which I mean grass, trees, and all other plant life sway with the wind and react to weather, but they don't pay any mind to Aloy's feet. The only interactive part of the environment is the tall grass Aloy can use as cover for stealth sections. The static environment is a little bit of a setback, but it is more than made up for with the overall beauty and obscenely long draw distance in the game. It's not something that will likely bother you, but it is definitely noticeable since most modern games do have grass collision detection. A minor setback. The best part of Horizon's graphics and what really sells the look and feel of the game, however, is the lighting and various color correction and atmospheric effects. The game has a feel of a world renewed, and the in-game sun, the world lighting, is the real power player in all of this. From the crimson hues of dawn to the sun-kissed afternoons and the lilac and tangerine dusk, the game just has a comfy style of lighting and color correction that makes every open plain, every mountain vista, and every cloistered forest look more idyllic and just nicer than real life. When all is said and done, environments, static or not, Horizon Zero Dawn is simply the new gold standard for graphics in a video game. And the fact that it runs so smoothly on the standard PS4 is simply amazing. The audio in Horizon Zero Dawn is a pretty decent affair. The soundtrack is ambient and nice, but not particularly memorable. That is a problem in a lot of games nowadays, though. There's no piece in the score that is catchy and nothing close to iconic. However, it is a nice soundtrack to hear when you spend your days hunting and gathering through the ruins of the old world. Not amazing, but certainly not bad. The sound effects are fantastic. From the metallic cries of the damned that the robotic beasts belt out across the plains, to the sound of Aloy's footsteps, an often neglected sound effect, to the sound of her loosing her bow, the sound effects in Horizon are done in an extremely competent manner, where everything sounds unique, there is no confusing one sound for another, and everything sounds great. Nothing gets old, and these sound effects just help you get lost in this post-apocalyptic world. The voice acting in Horizon is pretty great too. Pretty much every character, no matter how important, is at least a competent actor. Aloy and the supporting cast, however, are all talented voice actors delivering a fantastic, nuanced, and emotional performance that you don't see all that often in gaming. Aloy's voice actress, Ashley Birch, is known for some downright cringeworthy stuff, like Tiny Tina in Borderlands 2, or her flat and forgettable portrayal of Chloe Price in Life is Strange. But somehow her best comes out in Horizon, and she does a downright admirable job as Aloy. Emotional, deep, and complex, Ashley Birch actually pulls no punches in her portrayal of the warrior brave, and delivers a performance that is actually memorable. When all is said and done, Horizon Zero Dawn is really what I would call the complete package. It looks great, it plays great, it has an amazing story, and an engrossing, captivating atmosphere. It is certainly one of the best exclusives Sony has ever had, and I would say it is a very strong contender for Game of the Year. And in 2017, that is saying something. With Nier Automata, Breath of the Wild, and Persona 5 all out, and all absolutely wonderful experiences, 2017 is turning out to be a legendary year for gaming, and Horizon is certainly part of the reason why. Horizon is beautiful, it is complex, it is unique, and, most importantly, it is engrossing and it is captivating. I give Horizon Zero Dawn a 5 out of 5.
That your love may warm her life as the rising sun warms all the earth. Speak her name!
Aloy!
And there you have it, Horizon Zero Dawn, a fantastic game and a strong competitor for Game of the Year in a fantastic year that 2017 is shaping up to be. Have you played Horizon? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Tell me in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.